The ceiling fan clicked like a metronome while my father leaned across my oak dining table, fingers laced so tight the knuckles blanched. "You're paying for Sophia's wedding," he said, voice low, flat, final, like he was reminding me the sky is blue. My mother patted the corners of her mouth with a paper napkin, as if we'd just debated brunch. Sophia, legs crossed, let one stiletto dangle while the corner of her lip lifted in victory. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I simply pushed my chair back, the legs whispering across hardwood, and said, "You have until tomorrow night to be out of my house." That was the moment the air in the room changed temperature. I'm Nora. 33. The daughter who put herself through college waiting tables until 4 a.m. while my parents bragged to their country club friends about how independent I was. Independence, I learned, was just their polite word for "we're not paying." Then there was Sophia, younger, brighter, the sun we were all supposed to orbit. When Dad's real estate side hustle collapsed, they showed up on my doorstep with monogrammed luggage and the soft assurance that it would only be a few months. 3 years later, I was sleeping on an air mattress in my own office. Mom reorganized my kitchen cabinets by zodiac sign. Dad turned my second bedroom into a command center for job applications that never got sent. Sophia painted my guest room lavender because it vibed better with her aura, and started introducing my downtown loft as our place to her influencers. My electric bill became a family plan. My Netflix password a blood oath. My emergency fund, apparently communal property. I still smiled when Mom said, "Family shares everything, darling." I still nodded when Dad told the neighbors I'd hit a rough patch, while he drove my leased Audi to the golf range. The counselor I started seeing in secret called it financial abuse wrapped in love language. I called it Tuesday. The cracks widened in small, sharp moments. Sophia borrowing my vintage leather jacket and returning it with cigarette burns. Mom tidying my jewelry box and somehow misplacing my grandmother's sapphire ring. Dad inviting his poker buddies over to my rooftop terrace, leaving cigar stubs in my succulents. Then came the night that split me open. I'd spent all day roasting a pork shoulder. My recipe, my Costco run, my silent apology for existing in my own home. We sat down. Dad carved the meat like he'd hunted it himself. Sophia set her phone on the table, screen glowing with a Pinterest board titled, "Dream Vineyard Wedding." "The venue I want books 18 months out," she said, swirling her wine, my wine. "Deposits 50,000. 50,000. Every extra shift, every skip vacation, every birthday I worked instead of celebrated. Gone in one sentence." Dad didn't even look up from his plate. "Nora's got it covered. She's practical. She'll understand it's for family." Mom reached over and squeezed my hand. "You wouldn't want your only sister to settle." Something inside me went still. Not angry. Still. Like the moment before a glass hits tile. I folded my napkin, placed it exactly parallel to my plate, and said, "You have 24 hours to pack." Dad laughed. Actually laughed. Until he saw my face. Sophia's mouth opened, closed. "You're joking." "Sunset tomorrow," I said. "After that, the locks get changed and anything left on the curb belongs to the city." The performance began immediately. Mom's tears were Oscar-worthy. Dad's threats were creative. Sophia cycled between bargaining and calling me a selfish monster who never loved her anyway. I stood in the hallway and listened to my own heartbeat. It sounded like freedom. At 9 a.m. the next morning I handed them printed eviction notices. Legal 30-day, but I was feeling generous with 24 hours. By noon they tried the relatives. Aunt Linda told them, "Nora warned you for years." By 3, Sophia was live streaming from my living room, crying about her abusive sister. The comments called me every name in the book. I turned my phone off. At 6:47 p.m. the last suitcase thumped down the stairs. Mom paused at the door, clutching her purse like armor. "You'll regret this when we're gone." I smiled for the first time in years. I already don't. The deadbolt clicked. I slid down the door and sat on the floor until the silence stopped feeling loud. A month later my loft smelled like my candles again. My bed was mine. My coffee was hot when I drank it. Sophia's fiancé left her when the money dried up. Last I heard, she's waitressing at the bistro downtown, saving for community college. My parents rent a studio above a laundromat. Dad bags groceries. Mom clips coupons with the same manicured nails that once judged my thrift store coats. Sometimes, late at night, I still expect footsteps in the hallway. Then I remember. The only heartbeat in these walls is mine. If you've ever looked at the people who raised you and realized love isn't a debt you keep paying forever, drop your city below. You're not alone. And you're not crazy for choosing the quiet over the chaos they called family.